I believe we can create standards outside of humanity. I don't want to say outside of humanity. I want to say above the individual human, by analyzing what cultures believe to be right and wrong across time, what things have been punished as right and wrong across time, creating cultural what's the word I'm looking for? Standard, like normative cultural ethics.
But that would be a study of sociology, though, Houston. That's not a study of morality. See, the only way we could judge, say, the Nazis to be wrong.
Well, not merely that, but also because we can analyze that all people suffer, and that suffering is in and of itself undesirable.
Right, but you're presupposing that suffering is bad, regardless of what anybody says about it.
I'm not presupposing that suffering is bad. I'm observing that everybody acts as if suffering is bad.
True.
And therefore, I try to infer the truth of what people believe from their actions. And one of the things that all people do is they act as if their suffering is real. So we can take that as an objective fact that all people will act as if their suffering is real, and from that we can extrapolate positive ethics.
But they're just human ethics. They're not grounded in anything outside of humanity.
But human ethics are above any ethic that's ever been created. So we can't say merely human ethics. We can say human ethics in a process of development.
Why should anybody, look, I'm agreeing basically with your ethic, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm just trying to find a grounding for it outside of humanity. And if there's nothing outside of humanity, we're just overgrown germs, then
why does the ethic have to exist outside of humanity instead of merely being extrapolated from humanity as a whole?
Let me ask the question this way. Let's suppose the Nazis had won World War II and brainwashed everybody to believe that murdering Jews, homosexuals, gypsies, and Jehovah's Witnesses was a good thing. Would it be a good thing?
Probably not.
No, it wouldn't be.
No, it wouldn't
even if everybody agreed.
It objectively wouldn't be, even if everybody agreed.
Yeah, that's right. See, that's the point.
That's why I'm not inferring my morals from humans and from merely humans and merely the observation of cultural ethics, but also from the fact that humans all act the same way in a certain way, and that we can observe objective inferences from that. We can say that it is objectively wrong to cause unnecessary suffering because all people act as if it is wrong because they have no other choice but to act as if it is wrong because it is an objective fact.
But you're presupposing that because someone acts in such a way that there's a standard beyond us. I believe there is a standard beyond us, but as an atheist, that standard doesn't exist. You've erased, I don't know if you're an atheist, I'm just saying. You've erased the standard, yet you still have the effects of that standard on your mind. You still have a conscience. I'm not talking about how you know right and wrong. That's epistemology. I'm talking about ontology. This thing that we know, what is it? If it's just molecules bumping around in our heads, that's not an objective standard. The standard has to be beyond us. Let me give you an analogy, and then we'll move on to the next one, because thank you for doing this. This guy started us off, didn't he? All right. Let me give you an analogy, Houston. I can read a book and know what a book says and deny there's an author, right?
Not reasonably.
Not reasonably, but I could know what a book says and say nobody wrote this, right? But there would be no book to read unless there was an author, right? I'm saying you're experiencing the same thing. You can know moral right and wrong by observing people and saying it's wrong to commit unnecessary suffering or inflict unnecessary suffering on somebody. But that wouldn't really be wrong unless there was a standard beyond us that said you ought not impose unnecessary suffering on people. You can know it and deny it exists, but you wouldn't know it unless it did exist. Just like you couldn't read a book unless someone really wrote it.